Mike, thanks for being here. Today we're going to talk about what makes whey protein so special and why everyone should consider using it. So, whey protein often comes up in the research around longevity, particularly when it comes to maintaining muscle mass as you age and managing body composition as well. So, given that you're an expert in whey protein, I thought it would be great to have you on today to tell us a bit more about what makes whey protein so unique. Before we get started, why don't you tell us more about yourself? You've been in the sports supplement industry for quite some time, so tell us when you got started and what motivated you.
I started Reactive 20 years ago in 2003, and I'd always been interested in fitness and nutrition and using supplements to help me get the most out of those things. I was using protein powders a lot and tried out lots of different supplements and protein powders, and I started to notice that they contained a lot of ingredients that I didn't really want in there, lots of additives, sweeteners, and flavorings. So instead, I started to make my own supplements at home, and I used raw single ingredients, and I found that these were more along what I wanted to use. And soon people started to ask me about what supplements I was using at home to help with my training, and I would tell them about what I was using, and that's when I started to think that maybe other people might want to use these too, and that's how Reactive Supplements got started.
And we should let people know how we know each other. So, we have been supporting each other from afar for probably over 10 years now, and there was even a point in time when I sold your supplements when I had a full training studio here. So we have been colleagues for a long time, and you've been a great source of support with your wonderful products. So tell us what whey protein is and why is it so special in the fitness industry?
Whey protein comes from milk. In milk, there's two different types of protein. There's whey and casein. Whey is digested easily by the body and quickly, and casein is digested slowly by the body, and it's a bit harder to break down. Whey has become more popular for people interested in fitness and building muscle because of its easy digestion properties. Because it's fast into the body, it's really useful around training or whenever we do exercise. It's thought that the fast uptake can help improve performance for sports if used before or during sports, and that when it's used after sports, the fast uptake can help improve the rate of recovery and speed up muscle repair.
So, why should the average person use whey protein then? What are some of the health benefits of it?
Whey protein, it's a very clean protein source. It's low in fat and low in carbohydrates. So if looking for a protein source that can be included in a diet or when you're eating cleaner, then whey is a good option to go with. Also contains a lot of healthy properties that support immunity. If you're working out or maybe you're under pressure at work, whey protein can help prevent you getting run down or sick. That's why it's good to use whey protein regularly. Some whey protein, when it's grass-fed, will contain a type of healthy fat called CLA, or conjugated linoleic acid, and that's a type of fat that will help the body break down body fat or burn body fat, and it can also help support lean muscle so that we can build muscle more easily and recover faster from training. It's also easier on the body sometimes to digest than other options. So if you're feeling like meat or eggs are a bit heavy for you, then whey protein can be a good option to help you feel a bit better, and it may ease any digestive issues that you're having from more heavy foods.
One thing as well that I think might be relevant to a lot of my viewers, because I have a lot of women who watch, and is whey protein a source of calcium? Is it good for bones?
That's a good point. Yes, whey does contain a high level of calcium, and it's thought that the calcium in whey can help support stronger and healthy bones. And also calcium has been shown in a lot of research to assist or help with the weight loss process. So if you're maintaining good levels of calcium in your diet, it can make it easier to drop off unwanted body weight or body fat.
And so let's talk about protein requirements, because that's why people use whey protein, is to meet their protein needs. And as we age, our protein requirements increase, including our requirements for something called leucine. So I was wondering if you could explain to the people watching what leucine is and why whey protein stands out as a significant source of it.
Whey protein is really well known for its high content of three important amino acids called branched chain amino acids, or BCAAs. These amino acids are thought to support muscle more than other amino acids that we eat, and whey protein is really high in them. The most important amino acid out of the three BCAAs is leucine. Leucine is thought to support muscle more than any other amino acid, and in whey protein, leucine is found in very high amounts. So if you're wanting to benefit from BCAAs or leucine, then whey isolate or whey concentrate are good choices to support that. If you're looking for the very highest levels of leucine, then whey isolate does have higher levels of leucine than whey concentrate.
And so you've talked a little bit about the different types of whey protein. Can you get into that just a bit more? So when somebody's looking at buying whey protein, they're going to see different types. They're going to see whey isolate and they're going to see whey concentrate. Those are probably the most popular ones that they're going to see. So can you explain the difference between those two and how somebody would choose?
Sure. When it comes to looking for whey, the two main types of whey protein are whey concentrate and whey isolate. Whey concentrate is usually the first place people start. It's slightly cheaper to use, and it's also the least processed form of whey. So it's always good to test it out and see if that's the right whey protein for you. It's closer to the raw state of whey protein, and it contains slightly more lactose and fat than what the other option of whey is, which is whey isolate. Whey isolates are slightly more processed. They do this to remove the fat and the lactose, and they bring these levels down to almost zero. So if you're eating a clean diet or watching calories really closely, then whey isolate is really great. And also if you're sensitive to lactose and finding whey concentrate to be an issue for you as far as digestive symptoms go, then it's good to move to whey isolate, which should solve all of those problems.
And I think that's a really important point, because people are often reluctant to try whey protein because they're worried that about the dairy and that they're going to have some digestive stress from it. But as you've just told people, that it may just be that they move to isolate and try one that has less lactose and they might be perfectly fine. And when we were talking before we were recording, you said that something about whey protein might even possibly be better to digest than some plant protein.
That's right. So oftentimes people will want to change to a plant protein to try how that will work for their body, and they might find that it's a bit harder on the digestive system. This is because plant proteins are hard for the body to break down compared to whey protein powders. Whey protein powders are a lot easier and faster to digest, but the plant proteins tend to slow down the digestive process, and they can feel a bit heavy, and for some people they feel unwell too. So I often hear from people who want to move back to a whey protein after using plant protein powder.
Why don't you tell us where you use whey protein? So how does it fit in your day?
I like to use whey protein a lot. I use it for breakfast, morning tea, afternoon tea, and also post-workout in the evenings when I work out. I use it a lot because I find it's the most convenient protein form for me to use, and I find it seems to feel easier on my body. It doesn't feel as heavy as using a meat or egg source for protein often throughout the day. And I also find it's a lot easier to just make up whey protein. It's more convenient, and it's going to cover all of my bases at the same time. So when I make up my whey protein meals, I always combine it with other foods. For breakfast, I'll have my whey protein with some oats and some berries and some nuts. And then for morning and afternoon meals, I'll do the same. And then post-workout, I'll just have whey protein on its own. And the reason I do that is because I want the fastest uptake for my whey at that time. So having it on its own is the best way to get faster uptake of your whey protein.
So one of the things that comes up often when I'm working with clients is that they're worried about using protein powders because they view them as being processed foods and they want to be on 100% whole food. And so I wanted to get your opinion on this because obviously you're using whey protein multiple times a day. And from what you're describing, you have a very healthy diet. And I've seen some of your meals on Instagram and you obviously eat very nice. I'm often wishing that you're cooking for me. And so you're obviously eating a very good diet. And I use protein powder multiple times a day as well. So can you tell us, what's your opinion on whey protein and do you view it as a processed food?
I'm very careful about the types of foods that I eat and eating a balanced diet as well. So it's something I think about a lot, but I've found for myself that whey protein is more of a health supportive protein form. If I'm eating chicken or eggs, there's limits to how those products can support your health. Whey protein contains immune system boosting properties. So for me, I feel it's good insurance if I use whey often throughout the day. I also like how I feel using whey. I find when I use meat or eggs often that's a bit heavy for me, and whey protein seems to give me more energy and I just feel a lot better when I use it regularly. And I also like to combine my whey with other foods at the same time. So I think of whey as a food source and I find that it's quite a balanced ingredient to use in your meals.
That's right. And I think that you have to look at the overall quality of the diet and using something like whey protein powder, which is a very high quality source of protein to meet your protein needs, especially as you age. It makes a lot of sense to me. And it's also, just to reiterate, it's so much more cost effective per serving, but it's also the time cost. It takes so much less time just to mix it into your oats in the morning than to try to cook eggs. And so, that's why we both use it. Mike, thank you so much for your time today. Can you tell people where they can find you?
People can find me at my website, reactivesupplements.co.nz, or they can search for me on YouTube or Instagram, Mike Honore.
And then, just because I will get asked by my North American ladies and audience, your products are not available in North America, but they are available in Australia and New Zealand.
That's right. So we send to Australia regularly, and we don't send to North America or any other countries, but we may do that in the future.
All right. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.